Boom, boom, boom. And what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to T3G Tangents. This is the podcast. This is the 60th episode of the Tangents podcast. And today, we have a very, very special guest. Ethan from Mastereth, known all over the internet. Obviously, I mean, very popular YouTuber, very popular Instagrammer.
Extremely popular,
yeah, dude.
In my words.
Dude.
Listen, I gotta give you props. So he didn't tell me he was sending out a code to a reviewer, and so then he's like, "Bro, I did a thing
without question, the best video game review."
And he's like, "You gotta watch it." And so I'm like, "All right, let's watch it." And I was dying.
Bro,
and I loved it.
Without question, the best video game review I've ever watched.
That was great. That was an awesome review.
It was so fucking hilarious.
I'm honest to God, your editing on how you do the jokes and how you add in all the different things to the videos to kind of play off those jokes is on point, man. Plus, thanks. I do like the fact that you not only do you like crack jokes, but then on the flip side, you like do actual proper criticism along with those jokes, and I think that's like the ultimate thing out of that. Where a lot of times when people do the one part of it, which is like just cracking jokes and talking about everything that might be wrong with something, that's all they do. They don't actually give proper criticism. So I think that's the biggest difference there. So I loved it. I thought it was great.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no, yeah. I was dying, man. I gotta give you. But then when you did get into, like, you were talking about different music and like what's in the music and what instruments were being used, I was like, holy shit, he went deep.
yeah. That was super cool, man. I watched it and like I started cracking up in the first like 2 minutes. I was like, this is gonna be incredible. And then I saw how long it was, and I was like, holy shit, that's longer than some of the levels.
Yeah, it was my biggest project, and that's kind of how I wanted to go into it as well.
That's awesome.
Because like I like making bigger projects, so I'm like, oh, this is a game review. Let's see how in depth I can possibly go with this.
Oh,
so it's now my longest, project. Yeah,
well, I like longer videos. I'm not one of those people that has a poor attention span. So like I can actually, as long as it's entertaining and it's done well, I'll sit there. I don't care. I'll sit there 30 minutes, an hour, whatever. I don't care as long as it's done well. That's the biggest thing, and you did it. You nailed it, man. I loved every second of it.
With that game specifically, it took me like 2 weeks just to beat it, and it was honestly aggravating.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Hold on. So actually,
the whole research part, I'm like, oh wow, it was honestly, I feel, the most strenuous research portion of like any video I've ever done.
Wow.
But that's because like I needed to beat the game in order to like actually, give my thoughts on it as a whole.
Which is how you should. That's, to me, that is a proper review. What I hate about game reviews nowadays is like you play 15 minutes and I'm like, oh, I love it, and I'm like, you can't love it. You haven't played the whole thing. You know,
I couldn't beat the tutorial.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Well, that's why I like Yahtzee. When he does his thing, like he does the whole thing, and when he talks about how long it takes him to play a game. He goes through those ups and downs of like, I lost interest and this and that. Yeah. So like by the time I got to the end, I forgot that I cared at the beginning. Like, like I like that shit. Like I dig that. So I want to ask you, since you're actually the first person I know to have beaten the entire game.
What? Hold up. What?
I mean, I'm sure people have, but I just mean like people that I've talked to. Like I've never beaten the game. I've never beaten the game.
Wait, time out.
You gotta understand. The last game I beat was only 6 hours, and it was Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
So that's how long ago that was, and it was only 6 hours.
So the game. So we actually, funny enough, we released the game on Steam, but we made it before. We made it significantly amount before it was even released on Steam. It just took a while to get it on Steam.
Yeah. Well, 'cause at the beginning, when we submitted to Steam originally, they nixed us. They were like, we don't think it'll fit in, blah, blah, blah. And at the time, I was so salty because I had like looked at all these like newly released indie games, and there was a bunch of garbage. So I was like, this game's way better than some of these games. Like, I mean, there are better games. I'm not going to say this is the best game ever.
No,
but, like,
right.
there were definitely worse games in 2011, so I was real salty about them saying no. And then we ended up going on Desura. I don't know if you remember Desura, which was, like, the indie Steam. And they recently, like, went down for, like, money laundering and shit. Like,
wow.
they went down.
Yikes.
Like, they were, like, not paying people. They owed people, like, years worth of royalties.
Oof.
Yeah.
Man.
It was a rough one.
That is rough, yeah.
But how long? When was that
2011.
show? That's when we posted it up on Steam.
No, it's been on Steam for only, like, 4 years.
Oh, okay.
It's been on Steam since May 29th, 2011.
No.
So.
No. That's when it was released. That it allows you. So when you put the game in, it
okay.
allows you to put in a release date.
That's what I was trying to figure out. I was like, man,
all right.
I'm like, I don't remember being on Steam since.
No,
2011.
we put it because we outright bought the game. So there's like a backstory to it, right? I was part of the original team that put the game out, right? It was just called Deadweight Games, or I'm sorry, Deadweight Studios at the beginning, and then the guy who ran that, the guy who like did all the original character art and stuff like that, he got like a big boy job and does character development for studios, and he does it freelance, and he did a trip in Europe. He did like a biking trip across Europe all while working because laptops. Which, like, kudos to him. I'm not big on like working from a laptop as your default, so that's me. But it was, he kind of just lost passion for it, and I was like, let me buy it off you. Like, I'll buy the property, I'll buy the whole thing from you, and we bought it, and we've just been kind of championing it. It lined up that Greenlight was like a thing during that time, and then when we jumped on Greenlight, someone approached us to put us in a bundle, and they got X amount of activations in that time, so they greenlit the game, and we got on there. Nice. We've made more money off bundles than we've made off Steam, for sure.
I'm sure, yeah.
Which,
for sure.
Don't get us wrong, it wasn't much money, but it was
well, fair enough.
It was better
right?
than nothing.
It's tough to stand out.
Oh, 100%, yeah. And I mean, here's the thing. I when we put it on Steam, I told them, I was like, this isn't going to be an expensive game. There's no reason for it to be expensive.
Yeah.
I just want people to get it and see what it's about and see how much. Like,
I mean, obviously, you're giving out free Steam keys.
Exactly.
Dude,
so,
here's my question to you. So originally, when we first put out the game, we put it out for $10. Do you think now that you've beat the game, do you think that is a $10 worth game?
Well, considering I got 44 hours worth of gameplay, I don't know. That's the thing.
I don't know.
Well, but the other thing was, like, I played it a lot more simply because I needed footage and like I needed specific parts.
Sense.
So realistically, it was more like probably like 30 hours maybe.
Sure.
So like, it's a long game. Like, I wasn't expecting it to be as long as it was.
Right. We
So,
advertise it as 15 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it could be?
Well, I got
done?
triple the amount. So like, like, I don't know. I would say if you charge more than 10, I would be like, probably not. But I feel like 10 sounds reasonable for the amount of gameplay
that's what I think that's what we ended up originally going with, and then with the bundles it was down to like, I think it was like maybe $5 or something like that.
Yeah, we got it down to $5 after a while.
And then for a while, we were like, well, it's not selling, and I'm like, just put it. I'm like, just put it at $1 permanently, and if it sells, it sells. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And
I already put in the discounts for the winter.
We'll go from there.
There's gonna be mad discounts coming up here for the fall and the winter sales and stuff.
What is it gonna be? 1 cent, a penny?
It will literally only allow you to do up to 90% discount.
Oh, okay. So it'll be 10 cents.
It'll be 10 cents.
Wow.
So there you go. But yeah.
So here's the thing. There's a long form goal of building a sequel, and And
Oh, a sequel.
Yeah.
Hold up.
so here's the thing. I'm gonna send you. There's a little comic that we did. We did a comic book convention, and we had our buddy who's an artist do a 1-page comic that like follows the last scene of the game, where he pauses, where he pauses and he looks around.
I'm very aware of that scene. Yeah.
Where he pauses, it looks like your game's frozen.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what?
That was great.
Yeah. So we had him like do up a little funny comic that follows that moment, and there is like plans to do a sequel. I want to do a bunch of sequels, and I want to name them after this guy's. Look at his face right now. I want to name them after. I want to name them after sequel movies, so in order. So like, my ever since 2011, no joke, ever since 2011, my goal has been to make gShift 2 the Shiftening. and then you would make gShift 3 Tokyo Shift.
I vetoed these votes.
He loves Tokyo Shift. Tokyo Shift's amazing. He loves it.
That's.
I'm sure that's what it is. It's love. Yeah.
And then 6 would be Guster Goes to Hell.
Yeah, that's the other good one, right? That's the
Guster Goes to Hell. Yeah, dude. I found like, dude. There's so many. What's a fourth movie? What's a series with a fourth movie?
All the Fast and Furious.
I mean, we're not gonna just. Then we have to have them drive a car at some point if we're just gonna name them after Fast and Furious movies.
I think Alvin and the Chipmunks had 4 movies.
No shit.
Oh Jesus, here we go.
I think so. I don't know,
dude. I'm just saying, it'll be funny. So here's. I mean, to give you kind of an idea, like what I wanted to do in the second one, it would be kind of a mix of 2D, like side-scroller platformer and kind of third person. And what you'd end up doing is essentially, instead of having, so like you had every biome had its own level. Yeah. Essentially, that would be one big area, but each area the camera would pivot. Each area the camera would pivot, and you'd have had these moments where you'd build up. You're gonna build up the gravity stuff, and eventually we'll be able to make larger jumps. So yeah.
Oh, so you can go more than just 1 block at a time.
2 blocks, sir. It's 2 blocks.
Sorry. Yeah,
it's the full space of 2 blocks. Come on, man. It's the full space of 2 blocks. It takes everyone a while to learn it.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
When you were pointing out like the despair you felt when like you accidentally turned the wrong way or
He said every wrong man has immediate regret.
Oh yeah.
I was like, that's true.
Oh yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah.
I loved it. That was. Dude, we've watched it probably. I mean, I had my wife watch it. Like I've watched it probably 5 times.
Well, the thing is, like, I didn't even know if you watched it yet because I heard nothing ever since I sent the link to the video. So
no joke. All I've been trying to do is log into the Deadweight YouTube channel so I can repost it, and I can't figure out the password. That was gonna be my first reaction is to repost that video on the Deadweight channel, but I just have not been able to figure out the password. So that's a thing that I suffer from is making passwords that I don't remember.
Yikes.
So
never get hacked apparently, even by yourself.
Right?
Yeah. I think the third person aspect would be interesting.
Yeah, because I think that could be like you could get different maps and different levels, and I think there's story-wise, I think it could get interesting. I think. Oh yeah,
for sure.
I actually was thinking in the second one that his power would be natural, and at the end of each like little mini section, you'd like find the pack, and the pack would be like a one-time use, and that's how it gets you to like the next area, like it's the big jump, and then the pack is useless, and then you find another pack later on to get you to the next area. So like his gravity power essentially like. Because everything's experimental and his dad is a bad scientist, his gravity pack essentially like gives him powers that are kind of low level.
That's interesting.
Because his dad is a terrible scientist because he built a machine.
So
that
is
destroyed
the sequel gonna come out on the 10th anniversary of the first game?
No.
Because that's in like 2 years.
Yeah, that is in 2 years.
Technically like 1 year ish. Well, no, 2. Well, kind of. I don't know. About 2 years.
Year and a half.
That would be fun. I just don't know if we would be able to actually.
I mean, honestly, to have that kind of deadline, Matt, I would need to partner with somebody. I was going to be building a couple smaller games, a couple mobile. There's literally I had plans of doing gShift the Lost Levels, and that was just going to be like a mobile, one of those perma runners that like it just always is running, and you tap it to do stuff, to jump and flip and whatever. But that was going to be just kind of like a mini game basically.
And jump more than 2 blocks.
So,
actually,
he's gonna dream about that.
Actually, we were gonna reduce it to half a block only.
Oh my gosh,
half a block. You can't actually.
We
jump.
really wanted to make it.
There's no jumping. There's just
challenging.
No
Challenging.
You can only.
I have a question though. I do have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So the trip mine blocks, right?
Yeah,
Are you supposed to be allowed to jump on the edges of the blocks? Because
You're
feel like
supposed to get around them. You can land perpendicular to them. The laser essentially is an indicator. The laser is not what's going to hurt you. Only being on the platform is what's going to hurt you. So you're supposed to land.
That's not true though.
You're supposed to. Well, right, yeah. You manage the edging, but yeah, no. So if it's if you land here and there's a laser like cutting across you, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
It's just an indicator. So yeah, you're supposed to land perpendicular to them. That was kind of the intended.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, you found a way around them. That's what's up.
Right, but
I didn't know about. I didn't.
Listen,
what I didn't know about was
intended.
that one mover. I didn't know about that one mover that prevents you from shifting. That was.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that it didn't prevent you from finishing. It must have been.
Right.
That must have been why we never found it.
It was just very, very difficult because of it. I don't know how I beat the level, honestly, but I did. So
I mean, hey, that's funny. Yeah, I didn't know. We did extensive bug hunts, man. There's if you go to the Deadweight site, there's I took some of the like early bugs and stuff that we found. And just put up a post of just like the stuff that happens.
Right, yeah.
There was once where
like
you jumped and your head got caught in the corner, so he was just hanging off by his head.
Yeah, but like bug wise, that was like the only thing. So like,
I mean, hey,
I'm
glad it worked.
99 levels.
Now, if I can hit you with a statistic, that game took a total of 6 months to make.
Okay.
I mean from nothing, from no assets, no, like basically no concept. Like there was an super early. If you go to the site, there's a dude that has he's got like a blue body and a yellow or a white head, like a super early concept version of that. And it was just called Shift at the time. I don't even think the same. I think it was supposed to be like a third person thing. It was a completely different game.
Yeah.
So like when we started and we actually like put pen to paper, 6 months, and the guy who coded it never coded anything before in his life.
Wow.
Yeah, he learned everything on the go. I talked to him once about migrating it to mobile, and he said the game is so fat of unnecessary code, and like because he was learning, so he was just doing shit as it went.
Oh my gosh.
So like shit he learned later on, and like made shit easier for later levels. Was he would have to spend days going back and updating the older code for that. So there's just like incompatible code, like not incompatible, but like non-symmetrical code. Like early levels are huge in code, and then he learned better ways to do it later on. Yeah, it was a fun process. It was a very fun process.
Yeah.
I mean, like 6 months. I mean that makes sense when the world is basically made up of a bunch of identical blocks. So I'm sure that helped.
Yeah. We had the environmental artist was she made 10 different platforms, essentially 11 different platforms, and then it was just a matter of placing them all.
Yep.
Yeah. It's,
For sure.
It was a fun time. But yeah, no, we would definitely need. I've been kind of exploring some options. There's a couple local devs that I kind of want to reach out to and get them involved. Possibly, we'll see. I do want to get onto it. I'm very much. I realize that I can't actually produce anything if I try to do everything at once.
Right. Yeah.
So right now we're very focused on putting out this comedy sketch series on the T3G channel, and then the next thing is a comic book series that is scripted, and I have an artist, but I didn't want to get into that until this one thing was done. I got to do it one at a time, otherwise I feel like I'm just gonna fuck all of it up.
You don't want to spread yourself too thin.
Right, and I just don't want to fuck it all up.
All right.
Right. Yeah.
Done with the gShift.
Well, that wasn't just that's video games.
This one of
the topics.
Let's get into the topics.
This was some great commentary on my video. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, not a problem.
So make sure you guys check that out. YouTube.com/Mastereth. Mastereth. Yeah. If you guys are watching on the channel, link below, of course.
Right,
but
always.
I mean, to kind of stay on the video game topic, we've been debating for the last 4 days since Overwatch 2 was released. If announced, whatever. Do you play like? I mean, I've seen like your content obviously, and you play a lot of indie games and a lot of smaller stuff. Do you play major AAA titles?
It really, for me, depends on the game.
Sure.
Because like I do lean more towards indie games for a lot of reasons, but games like Last of Us, Kingdom Hearts, what else? Any like zombie game really.
Okay.
There's like for me it depends on like the specific types of games, but like for the most part I do lean towards indie games.
Okay.
For the most part.
Any particular reason or?
Well, I just find indie games to be way more diverse, and more times than not, they tend to impact me a lot more than AAA games. And with AAA games, you get series like Call of Duty and all these sports games and everything that kind of just repeat a formula.
Sure.
Whereas indie games, it's usually like a smaller team, and the vision is a lot tighter, and it tends to be more impactful that way because it's not going through a bunch of more people than necessary to kind of construe the meaning or the vision behind it, So
no, I dig it for sure. I also like I like a variety of stuff. AAA games for me are sort of losing their flavor.
Yeah,
just like you said, there is that repetitive formula. I
gotta make money.
Right, exactly. It's mostly the money thing. I like legitimately on Twitter threatened Respawn when I heard that they essentially scrapped Titanfall game in favor of a fucking battle royale style. And I was like, no Titans. Fuck you guys. I fucking love Titans because like I really like that universe. I like the story.
Oh yeah, same.
Like,
yeah.
Titanfall 2 is such a good fucking game. The story, like, oh my god, dude, I like almost cried at the end. I don't know if you played the story, but like
I played the first one a lot. I really liked the first one. I haven't played the second one yet.
The story in the second one is so good, like so good. Like I literally almost cried at the end. Like so when they were like, "Oh, we had this Titanfall game, another sequel, but we scrapped it to convert it into a battle royale, and there's no Titans," and I was like, "What the fuck do you mean there's no Titans? That's the whole point of this universe." So like I went on Twitter and I was like, I will fucking put every ounce of my energy into destroying you. And then it came out, and then Apex turned out to be like the most fun fucking thing to play.
Yeah, that's fair.
It is the least battle royale game that is actually a battle royale game. Like because I played what the fuck's it called? PUBG. It's boring. I've played H1Z1. It's boring.
Unfortunately, none of those I watched a bunch of people play them, but I never really I don't know. It never caught my eye in caring for it. I was like, whatever type of deal. But then Apex got announced, and I was like, huh. I'm like, I didn't know if they could do it without Titans, and I'm like, this looks pretty good. Then I jumped in and tried it out, and I was like, I love it.
It's fun. Like, it's fun and it's fast. And I think that's part of the biggest thing. It's fast-paced inside the actual gameplay, but even things like queue times. Queue times basically don't exist in that fucking game. Like, on the worst day, you might have to wait a full minute to get into a game. And that's just like, and it's rare.
Yeah, and I think what helps that is quite a few things. I mean, one, obviously, you only have to worry about having 3 players, so you know, that already is going to eliminate the queue times on its own. But then, of course, obviously, it helps that the game is extremely popular even during launch.
Right.
And so, obviously, the more popular it is, the more people there are going to be.
Right. That's true.
So
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I never really got into Fortnite. Like none of that stuff.
I have something to say about Fortnite, just really brief. Nothing like because I don't like. I like the game Fortnite. I just don't like the community. But that's not really the thing I was gonna say. Like I remember when Fortnite was an alpha and it was supposed to be a cooperative zombie survival game with building elements.
That's what really got me into that game.
Yes, exactly.
When I showed the trailer,
oh my gosh, finally.
Dude, I was so into it. Because the whole thing, the original trailer was a PvE. You were supposed to build this like tower and just hold it against zombie hordes. Yeah, that was the whole thing.
And that looked incredible. Yes, exactly.
And then they were amazing. And like it came out super quiet. And then a week later, it was a battle royale game, and I was like, "What happened to like the whole building and zombies and like what happened to all that?
Right.
Like where did that go?"
Oh, it's just under a paywall,
which is stupid.
Like, exactly.
It's nobody so stupid. Like I don't know. I was into it, but then they. I don't know. They made a monetary choice. They made a monetary choice,
and that's fair. And now it's like the most popular game now. And it's just
you had people sitting in front of a wall for 8 hours while they stared at nothing.
Oh yeah.
Like when they did chapter 2 or whatever.
The black hole. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
People were just staring at a black hole for hours.
I wasn't.
No, because we don't play that game. But like,
even if I was.
You would move on with your life.
I wouldn't have stared at a black hole.
Right, but I'm saying, like the kids who play it, kids are like invested in that shit because it happened
way too invested. Yeah,
it happened mid game. Like it happened mid game for people. I watched some of the videos, and they're just like playing, and all of a sudden the whole thing explodes. They're literally being sucked into a wormhole, and I'm like, wow. Yeah. I was like, that's dedication. They were like, fuck your game, fuck this instance of your game. Like, we got to shut down. And it was, somebody mentioned it before they actually announced Chapter 2. Somebody said, oh, they probably need to update their servers for, like, the new thing. And instead of just saying, oh, we're going to be down for a day, they did this entertaining thing.
And honestly, I feel like no other game that's as big as this has accomplished a feat such as that in that way, and that's why I think it was really cool, because I think this was the first time we've actually seen that happen.
For sure.
And I'm like, wow, I do agree. That was actually a really cool instance that they did to promote their new season or chapter or whatever. So
I think it was a very well executed thing. I'm still not a huge fan of the game.
Same, yeah.
It's I don't know. It seems like a lot of the people that play this kind of thing are either super fucking hardcore or they're just the most... There is no casual hardcore.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's no people who just, like, want to squad up and win, but they're not, like, trying to be masters. Like...
Right, yeah.
Whereas, like, that's kind of where I'm at in Overwatch. Overwatch, like...
Uncle Peter, why do you think Fortnite became so popular so quickly? Because everybody decided to stream it.
Yeah. You had major streamers, people who were already streaming. I mean, it's the same. It's
the same reason Apex took off.
Yeah, well, they paid for that.
Well, yeah,
they did pay for that.
They were smart.
But they were smart. Yeah, they knew streaming. They knew streaming was going to be what did it. They knew it, and they were correct.
If they chose not to pay streamers to stream that game
Apex
on launch, it would not be as big as it is.
Yep.
No question. No, yeah. For sure. Overwatch 2 was announced this weekend. I I have decided, because of the fact that it was released the way it was, it being essentially, in my opinion, just an expansion that's being charged. It's an expansion being sold for $60, and I think that is an entirely money motivated move.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're essentially milking their audience and their fans for money. They're giving you, in my opinion, about $20 to $30 worth of content for $60.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm mad about it. And I uninstalled Overwatch and I uninstalled Battle.net. I am
wow.
Until such a time whereas they're no longer with Activision. I think they're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna make any better decisions going forward. I just.
Yeah.
I don't like when a company that has had this really strong history of maintaining a single game and just expanding it and making it better and better and better every time with World of Warcraft. Like, they've been doing World of Warcraft for 20 fucking years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they know that there is money to be made off selling $20 to $30 expansions and lots of money.
Well, their expansions are $40, and they can
whatever.
get up to like $70. So
Right.
Depending on which
Right,
edition
but I'm saying
you want to get.
exactly. So my point is, like, you there is money to be made in this stuff, and they know this.
Yeah, exactly.
But because whatever Activision's mentality is of you got to have a game release, it just I think that's the only reason there is an Overwatch 2 and not just some sort of patch or expansion.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm salty about it, so that's kind of
I mean, that's fair.
I acknowledge the fact that they did put in some things to kind of like not screw out completely the players of Overwatch 1. Like, you're not like relegated to only the few people that aren't going to buy Overwatch 2. You're still going to be able to play with Overwatch 2 players, which to me is even more of a sign that it's just the same game because they're using the same servers.
Yeah.
And then they're also like, you're going to be able to keep your stuff and your skins and things like that, which is cool. Like, I think that's a good thing. I just don't like the fact that they're really just trying to gouge their audience. That's where I'm at with that. And that's why to go back to kind of my previous question of indie games versus major stuff. Like, indie games, I think they kind of do their thing. Very rarely are indie games doing like money motivated moves. They just
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's just like, we want to do this thing this way, and that's what we're gonna do. Because like, there's a bunch of indie games that I just finished a couple months ago. I just finished playing through my entire Steam library, over 1,000 games. I spent like 3 years buying bundles, so I had over 1,000 games. I finally made it through, and like, there's a ton of stuff that like is clearly made with passion, and like, it's cool, it looks cool, but like, for me, I don't play certain things. I don't play certain kinds of games. I don't play click to move.
Right, yeah.
Like, I don't play click to move at all. So like, there's a bunch of click to move games that look like they were cool, concept was cool, but like, it's click to move, and I don't have the patience for that shit. So like,
right, yeah.
Like, if I can't do WASD, I don't play it.
Yeah.
To kind of pivot to a similar subject matter, this is a terrible pivot. There's usually a better transition.
Yeah, it's fine. It's horrible transition.
We talked about this a little while ago on the podcast. Bootlegging in the current era. What are your thoughts on what are your thoughts on bootlegging versus like going out and paying for it, or like, let's say you have your cable subscription and you pay for Netflix and maybe even Hulu, and then what you want to see is just not on there. So you do your due diligence and you're paying for it. Is it wrong of you to want to go and just fucking watch it on some streaming site or download a torrent or?
I mean, I feel like that goes down to the legality of it, really.
Well, legally, of course.
Listen,
we're not. Nobody's endorsing
Listen,
anything. Nobody's endorsing
legally,
anything.
they're gonna tell you can never bootleg, and you're gonna get sued and lose all your money and go to jail.
But I didn't say you were gonna do it. I said
longer than a guy that shot somebody. That's not the point.
I didn't say doing it. I just said, is it wrong of you to want to?
This is what I've said. There's so many things that are available nowadays that like bootlegging is almost irrelevant. But there are times where, like for instance, I have still cable TV, which I also have a DVR, which allows me to obviously. But there are moments where my shows, for some dumb reason, do not record via DVR. It's just a shitty service by Comcast. And then, of course, all the streaming service that I pay for, which I pay for too much, but I pay for them, and they don't have that show. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, listen, I already pay for enough where I'm not going to pay you more money to actually watch an episode because my services either, one, messed up when it was not supposed to mess up, or two, now no longer provided for me to watch it. So if I have to go on a different means where I watch it on a website where you're not getting notification that I've watched your show or you're not getting my numbers, that's your problem because you messed up. I paid for it. Just because I'm not able to access it at this moment, that's not on me. That's on you. So that's kind of how I see it. Once again, not to promote.
Right. No, we're not endorsing anything. But look, I mean, like for instance, in my situation, I pay for CBS All Access because I really wanted to watch Star Trek Discovery. Love that show. Like, super excited about it. And like, I'm a fan of NCIS. I was behind a season on NCIS, and again, I'm paying for CBS All Access. I can watch 18 or whatever seasons of NCIS. I can watch all 3 seasons or 4 seasons or whatever of NCIS New Orleans. But for whatever reason, and like I contacted their support and they said that like whatever rights like agreement they have, and I don't know what that means because it's their show, but like I cannot watch back seasons of NCIS Los Angeles. Even though it's their show, it's their streaming service. So now I'm paying for CBS All Access, but now I would have to pay $30 again to just watch the last season.
Bro, you have to pay for the premium all access. Duh.
Because all access doesn't mean all access. You are confused.
Right, yeah.
That's why I don't fucking pay. That's why I don't fucking have Marvel Unlimited. Marvel Unlimited is a comic book service, but you know what it's not? It's not fucking unlimited. It's like a curated list of comics. And I'm like,
exactly.
I just want to read all the fucking comics. I will pay you the money. I just want to read all of them. I'm like,
yeah.
Put all of them on and I will pay you the money. Like,
I mean, listen, like I said, to me, there's so much that eliminates bootlegging.
Yeah.
That at this point, there's no need to rely on it. But
no.
There, like I said, if you're somebody like me that pays all the different services to have something, but for some reason, no matter what you did right, that no longer is available for you to watch.
Right.
Then maybe an alternate source of viewing pleasure is the way you're gonna go. So
you gotta watch it a different way.
You know, it's not my fault my DVR didn't record when I set it to record.
Right.
And it's funny how DVR works, because DVR, all you have to do is just select the show. You don't have to set the time or the day. You just select the show and record the show. It still didn't record the damn show, even though it's set to record the show.
Right.
So I was like, well, I'm not going to buy the DVD. That's just stupid.
Right.
So,
You're supposed to record it. Like,
so I'm just going to go ahead and find it where I can watch it in an alternative way. So, you know, I don't condone bootlegging, but sometimes if I've done my due diligence to give my money to all these aspects of how I consume media, and I still can't consume it, you can kiss my ass. I'm gonna consume it somehow without paying you. So
I'm gonna consume this damn.
That's
media.
on you. That's not on me at that point. So
like, I'm paying you. Just give me the things. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of how I see it, but that's just me.
Now that you've explained it that way, it does make a lot more sense. I still don't condone it, but like, as long as
I mean, like,
this is the thing, because like here's my brain is in the present, and if I know if I say something stupid now, somebody's gonna watch this in 10 years.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out
100%.
what to say here.
No,
where it's not like
and that's the thing. I'm not concerned about.
Again, we're not
concerned
saying
about.
do. We're saying to want to. Is it wrong to want
Right.
to then just watch it any way you can? If you already paid for all the things, and then the DVR doesn't work,
Right.
or for whatever inexplicable fucking reason,
Well, yeah, like for
the
instance,
one season is not
because
available.
you're already paying for it.
Right, exactly. So I pay for
Yeah.
cable, and I have all the CW shows set up. So Flash, Arrow, Supernatural. None of them are recording this season.
That's super weird.
Not one single one of them is recording, but they're set to record. I even checked my settings, and they are in there scheduled to record, but they are not recording. And I'm like,
and let's say you don't have the time to watch the first 5 episodes.
Right, exactly. So let's say I didn't have the time to get on either Xfinity streaming through the website or CW's streaming through their website. Let's say I was too busy. I didn't have time to actually sit down and start watching this stuff and catch up through their websites. Now, I don't have access to it unless one of two things. I wait till
It's on Netflix.
Until it's on Netflix, until like mid to end of summer, somewhere around there, it kind of shows up, or I buy DVDs. Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna buy DVDs,
right?
Because I don't buy DVD. I don't buy shows on DVDs normally. Right. And I've already paid multiple services to have access to the shows. So at this point,
I would understand
homie,
if that's your last resort.
Exactly.
Right.
That's the thing. Like, I'm not gonna buy a $40 season. Sorry, it's not my thing.
I do not think. I definitely don't think it should be anyone's first resort. I think. I think I tend to like default to it for stuff because I don't expect it to be available after it's done. So like I was watching something. A new show that it's on season 2, and I was like, oh shit, I never finished season 1. And then I was about to go and watch it on a site, and I was like, wait, it's probably on Netflix. Let me check Netflix.
Right.
And it was on Netflix. And like, here's the thing.
Exactly.
I want to watch it on Netflix because it's easier. Mm-hmm. It auto plays. It's better quality. I want to pay for it, and I am giving the money. Give me the things. Like,
yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the, and you know, there's always going to be a debate, like, you know, oh, well, this person's going to have a streaming service and this person's going to have a streaming service.
Yeah, but I'm okay with that.
Well, I'm not, because I'm not going to pay $5 for every channel I want to watch.
But look at it this way.
But it's still going to be more than I pay for cable at that point, and that's just not happening.
Yeah. It's like, you wanted to watch Pirates of the Caribbean? No, get this Disney streaming service.
Yeah, right, exactly. Oh, no, you have Netflix? No, that's not good enough anymore. Yeah. Now you have to go with ours.
Well, that's the thing is, someone has said that Netflix might get bought out. What do you guys think?
No.
By who?
There's several $1 billion in debt.
I mean, I don't care if they're in debt. They're still making moves. So,
I mean, they're making shows, but they lost viewers. They lost viewers because, and their own admittance is because of a lack of engaging content to retain viewers.
They're releasing something like they are releasing original content like every single week.
That's what I'm trying to figure. Right, that's what I'm trying to figure.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but is it engaging? Like, I just watched they have a lot of comedy specials, right? They're paying a lot of money for these comedy specials, and I just watched like. The problem is they're not all fucking aces. They're not all hits.
Well,
I just watched I just watched the Arsenio special. It's all right. Mm-hmm. Like, and I'm not going to tell anyone to go watch it, which means maybe they get 100,000 eyes on it at best.
Right.
Is that worth the maybe $500,000 they paid him? Like,
right. Yeah.
Even if it was $300K that they paid him, which would be low bar for fucking Arsenio. Like Arsenio is a fucking legend. Like,
well, I don't know, man. I mean, that's what's weird to me is like, are they going to get bought out? I mean, anybody can get bought out. Marvel can be like, hey, Netflix, or Disney, should I say? Disney can be like, hey, Netflix, we want to buy your ass. You're in debt. We're not.
We are Disney.
We're gonna release Frozen 2. We'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll be fine. After Frozen 2, it would have paid just for you.
Yeah. That's the thing, man. I'm actually really excited about their service. I want Sony's media division to get bought out so that Marvel can also get the Spectacular Spider-Man show. On
I love that show.
Yeah, so
that was the best one.
So back to your question.
Yeah.
I don't see them being bought out just because they are still investing in shows, and to say they don't. I think they're idiots when they believe that they don't release content that's engaging their customers. They're absolutely wrong. What the problem is it's $15 a month.
There's that.
People don't want to.
Well, they keep raising the price.
Exactly, and so like, trust me,
they're talking about lowering it.
Even though 15 might not seem like a lot, when somebody's penny pinching because they're trying to survive on a check by check basis, Netflix is going first. Sorry, homie.
You think so? I feel like people would give up fucking eating at McDonald's before they give up fucking Netflix.
I bet you they wouldn't.
I don't know. I think people would eat ramen before they not have Netflix.
Well, I feel like nowadays more and more people are getting rid of cable and just having like these streaming services.
Oh yeah, no,
instead.
for sure.
Right.
Yeah, I mean
So,
that's
like,
definitely happening. But once again, it goes back to like you keep raising your. Even I said it at some point. I'm not paying for Netflix because it's just too damn much money.
But again, streaming services.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, exactly.
But here's the thing. But for me, I would be perfectly fine if I'm paying. Let's say if $15 for Netflix, it's $6 for CBS, it's $6 for Disney, it's whatever $7 for DC. I'm okay with that because that's under $30, like for basically everything I want to watch.
Right. Yeah.
Like, to me, it's not. I don't have to spend $200 a month on a cable package that has all the channels that I need. Like, I would like if it took $100 of 6, 7, 8 different services for me to watch everything I want, and if I paid $100 a month and I'd be able to watch every single thing I want to watch,
at any point.
Yeah, at any point on any device.
Yeah.
On as many fucking devices I want,
anywhere.
I'd be fine with that because guess what? That's the same. That's better than paying an extra $150 for your cable package that gives you the 300 channel package that gives you the 3 channels that you need to watch.
Oh yeah, exactly.
On top of that, still commercials.
Oh, yeah, exactly. On top of that, commercials. Like, I
just cannot believe that we as a society, and I do it still till this day, pay for something, but then to also watch advertisements on the thing I pay for.
Yep.
That's like being okay with what the industry for games wanted to do, which was to include advertisements within games.
Yikes.
Like for a while there was talks about
was
them
talks
doing
about
that, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, I ain't paying you $60 for a video game if you're gonna show me fucking ads while I'm playing.
Right,
so, like,
exactly.
Sorry, man, that ain't happening. At some point,
Right,
I'm gonna do what you do. I'm gonna be like, indie sounds real good right now.
Right.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Because I don't gotta watch your ads.
Yeah, you drive through GTA in your Lamborghini, and all of a sudden you see a KFC commercial that pauses your game.
Just pauses the game.
Pauses the game.
Were you feeling a little KFC today? No, bitch, I wasn't. I was.
But you know what I would be okay with is if they brought that shit in a natural way into like GTA Online. If you're driving by a KFC and it says KFC, whatever their current special is,
of course.
I'm okay with that.
Well, yeah.
It's not interrupting your game.
Right.
If
they
it
just
doesn't,
brought it into like the natural order shit.
If it made like with GTA, it's a world game, so like you're driving around the world, so seeing something like that.
But if you're playing like Dragon Age 4.
And then I see a commercial for KFC.
Like Samsung Galaxy.
Or like KFC, like, no, bitch, there's no KFC in
Like, you just see a cave with a bunch of like KFC.
Yeah, like no, this is already.
And then the colonel steps out.
I want my money back. God damn it.
He takes a drumstick and he's like, "It's finger licking time." Bashing you over the head.
It's finger licking time.
Finger licking time.
I love it. I love it. Oh my god, that's fantastic.
But no. What the hell were we talking about? I can't even. Where did we come from?
Not product, but
streaming services.
Yeah,
and
originally it was
doing-
bootleg. But we got to
bootleg,
it. We got to
streaming
it.
service. That's the beauty.
This
of,
is why it's called tangents. God
this
damn
is why
it.
it's tangents. That's the
This is why it's called
beauty of
tangents. This is the best. This is the best podcast you don't know about.
this
right.
this podcast is sponsored by Clorox disinfectant wipes.
Shit,
I wish.
I wish. Thank you, Clorox.
I wish. Where's
Back to
that
the
check?
show.
Back
Where's
to
the
the
check?
show. Please disinfect your home, and
Right.
there we go.
We are filthy mouth motherfuckers. We gotta disinfect.
No, yeah, but going back to bootlegging, I mean, yeah, man, if you've done your due diligence where you've paid for everything that literally is supposed to provide you with the content, and you still can't get that content, well, then fuck them.
Right.
That's basically where I'm at.
Yep.
Right.
I don't care.
I'm not gonna tell you to go bootleg some stuff.
Yeah,
But I'm not gonna be
there's-
mad at you if you
Listen,
do
there's
it.
plenty of resources right now that you do not need to bootleg.
No,
But
oh my
if
God.
those resources are not providing for the thing you paid for, then fuck them.
Fuck them, man.
I gave you the money. You just didn't give me the product. so
Official position of T3G
it doesn't.
is fuck 'em.
To me, it doesn't matter at that point. I've given
Right,
you
yeah.
the money. You just haven't allowed me to have the product. And at that point, that's called stealing, bitch. You're stealing from me.
Yikes!
You stealing my money?
That's
Don't
called,
play with my
that's
money,
Called, that's
man.
called fraud.
Wow.
That's how
Pretty
I
sure
see
this
it.
is called libel.
Listen, man, that's what I see. I paid for something, I'm not getting this, so that's last time I checked. You can involve the law in that shit.
Speaking of involving the law, oh, that was a good one. Jeremy Renner is in trouble with the law and
Yikes.
with the public.
Did he bootleg?
He did. He did.
No.
Wait, what?
He booted his wife.
He didn't.
He
bootleg.
booted his wife. He's in some shit, man.
He's got some. I
Oh,
guess.
yikes.
I guess there's going on some marriage issues between him and
marriage
his,
issues. She said
ex-wife.
he's he is
she is
threatened.
claiming that he threatened to kill her and commit
Let's see,
suicide.
yeah.
I guess he got physical with the kids, but
Yeah,
these,
he apparently
but right now
bit
these
his
are
kid.
all like there's no 100% confirmation. This is just
Right here. He
stories
said,
being told.
He
So,
said, "This is this is a thing that happened, and this is who's this person?" So this says, when you were putting on ointment on her owie, his daughter, Ava told me you bit her there. He says, "Ha, no, we do a nibble game called Ava Burrito, but not a bite. Tell her she's spicy, and the game ensues." Nibble games are fake nibbles. I
don't understand.
That's what he said. Those were
That's
his
a
words.
yikes. That's a yikes. Okay, wow.
I mean, but words for what? Like I didn't. Like,
She said that he bit her. The kid said that he bit her.
well, kids use incorrect language all
Sure,
the time.
sure.
So that's
and
correct.
I get that. But initially he had said there was a his initial reaction was right here. Right here. In the court filing, the 48-year-old actor claimed the bruise on his daughter's shoulder was from her seatbelt pinching her.
Okay.
And then he changed it to say it was this nibble game. And then when you start changing your story,
Right, yeah.
I get curious.
Yeah.
So
I don't know,
there's that.
man.
His wife said that he threatened her with death.
Here's the thing, man. First of all, people say crazy shit all the time when they get
Sure.
heated in an argument. So, like, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
hold against him that he said something in anger. I say if people heard the shit I say in anger, I'd probably be in jail right now. Let alone alive. I say some fucking awful shit to people when I'm angry. So, like that's when it comes down to that kind of stuff, that's just the name of the game. Like you're angry, you're saying shit that you normally wouldn't say, and it is to hurt the person you're angry at. It is to it is to mentally hurt that human being.
Yeah, and it's now
like if his wife was like, "I'm taking your kids."
That's the thing. This is during a custody battle, right?
Yeah.
And she's.
You know.
But here's another thing. Like, this is another thing that his ex-wife says, that a nanny overheard him say that he planned to kill her and himself because it was better that Ava had no parents than to have her as a mother.
Oh.
I mean, but again, that's like hearsay.
That's hearsay.
That's
man.
hearsay. That's you know, that's
like that's
even.
But again, that to me is
here's
the things people say to get their way in custody battles is a lot.
Well, here's the thing. It's a few things, right? So here's how I'm seeing this, right? And once again, until there's official reports, and I'm talking about official, like police involved, the guy went to jail. There is record of everything, right? Until there's official reports, all I'm seeing here is somebody's fighting over custody. Shit is being said so that way custody can be won. And then on top of that, a nanny talked about how a famous person said some shit. No shit. You're telling me that nanny might not be considering like, hey, if I put my 2 cents in, maybe I'll get some eyeballs. Like, bro, it's all about taking advantage of shit that's happening. And in this case, it can be on multiple ways. It can be the mom saying shit publicly because he is a public figure. Sure. So as long as she gets shit out there and the news reporters are going crazy about reporting news, doesn't matter if it's true or not.
It's true.
This doesn't look good for him when it comes down to court.
Right, yeah.
When it comes down to the nanny, hey, if I say some shit, I'm gonna be on the reports. I'm gonna be on the news. I'm gonna headline shit. Like, it's just to me at the end of the day, until there's factual, like he went to jail because he actually did abuse somebody. He went to jail because there were charges placed on him because he was threatened to kill somebody. Then yeah, sure. Then we can talk about how it's legitimate news. But until then, all this is literally just news to get people's eyeballs, and that's some shit that I don't.
But
care
I mean,
for.
the allegation is the allegation. Obviously, he denies all the allegations.
Yeah, but that's all it is allegation. Like at the end of the day, until proven, that all it is just people talking shit. People can talk shit all the time. Shit, I could be like, man, Jeremy Renner touched me the other day. Prove to me he didn't.
He said, prove to me he didn't.
But guess what? It'd be a hell of a fucking story to run with for the next week or two.
Yep.
You get a day, maybe, at most.
Maybe.
No, but yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
The burning question. The burning question here is, let's. Presuming that the allegations are correct, should he be recast or simply removed from the Hawkeye show?
I mean, here's the thing. This is kind of where. Here's my question. All right. Here's how I see shit. Right. So everybody's gonna argue, well, yeah, but he's a public figure. Well, yeah, he is a public figure, but this is still a job. If Joe Schmo down the street beats his wife, but his job hasn't heard about it because he ain't a public figure, does he lose his job?
Oh, that's a good question.
He doesn't. But because Jeremy Renner is a public figure and people want to talk about him,
well, it's not about the talking.
Should he lose his job?
I would say.
The reason people are talking about his personal life is because he's a public figure. If he wasn't, then Marvel wouldn't know shit that was happening in his household, and they wouldn't care to fire him.
I'm saying presuming that it's true, i.e., they decide in court that it's true.
Once again, does Joe Schmo down the street lose his job
if he goes to jail for domestic abuse?
Yeah, does he lose his job? I haven't heard of people losing their job just because they've ended up in jail for a few days.
Ethan, what do you think?
I mean, it's
right. I'm here. Right. So
he's just watching.
No,
I am here.
I mean, either way, it's gonna look bad on your resume. So I don't think it really.
I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right. That's a statement.
Right. Even if he stays on, you're right. Even if he stays on, next time he's up for a role, they're gonna consider it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it plays, to me, it's always going to play two ways. Yep, you could argue the fact he is a public figure, so that's why it's being held against them. But then you could always argue, like, if he wasn't, and he was working for a company, nobody would be talking about how he did that.
Well, not a lot of people.
Right. I'm sure the people that know him,
Yeah.
but like,
Well, yeah.
but like, it wouldn't. His job wouldn't give a
Yeah,
shit.
exactly. Yeah.
Marvel gives a shit because they make public movies.
Right.
Because
Exactly.
the public watches it and the public listens
That's
to
true.
news.
Mhm.
That's true. There is
Yeah.
that. There is
But
that.
at the end of the day, he's an employee and they're just bosses. It's not like.
hmm Yeah.
But people will always say, but because he is a public figure, he should be doing better. Well, shit.
Well, what's funny?
Well,
what's
shit.
funny to me is there. So there was when Captain Marvel was coming out. Ethan, let me actually ask you: are you a Marvel Cinematic Universe fan?
For me, it depends on the movie, but I like Marvel a lot more than like DC.
Okay.
So, like,
so
I
But
saw
just, like,
the
generally
Infinity War
speaking.
movies and
Okay.
stuff. Yeah, like I like Marvel. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So during the whole press junket for Infinity War and Endgame, more so
Mhm.
Endgame, there were these like there was this I want to just call it a rumor. There was a rumor being passed around the internet that the cast of Infinity War and Endgame, they hated what the fuck's her name? Oh my God, Captain Marvel.
Wonder Woman.
Captain
Oh,
Marvel.
same person, anyways.
Yeah,
You said
right.
same person.
Damn,
Brie Larson.
All right.
They were
Yeah.
people were saying that they hated her, like to the point that we were at a restaurant and the guy checking us out was like, "Oh, you guys like Marvel movies and stuff like that?" Blah blah. He's like, "Did you see Captain Marvel?" I'm like, "Yeah, it was fucking awesome." And he was like, "Did you hear like all the other Marvel people hate her?" And I was like, "No, I hadn't heard that." Like, cause I don't listen to that kind of stuff. So we looked it up, and I'm watching these cuts of these conversations where
and they're great cuts.
they're convincing cuts, right? Where it's cut together in such a way that like it does look like they do not like her. And then I found the originals, and of course that's not what they look like.
Exactly right.
But
Yeah.
there is an interview where, and it definitely looked like it was probably the last interview of the day. This guy asks like a ridiculously deep question. It's Jeremy Renner and it's Brie Larson, and it's the question. The question is, I definitely put that to mute. I know I saw it. He asks, he's like, do you take the fact that you're a public figure, does that make you like want to be like a better person or something along those lines? And Jeremy Renner essentially goes off to say he's got like a lengthy answer, but his summation was he does what he feels is right regardless of the fact that he's a public figure. Like he does, he strives to do the right thing not because he is a public figure. He just always strives to do the right thing. So I just thought it was like a funny thing. Like I certainly do not want these things to be true. But like, But like, I just thought it was like a funny accusation to make of somebody who like said that he canceled. He had an app, like a Jeremy Renner like fan app, and people were getting toxic in the app, so he canceled the whole thing. He was like, He's like, this is people are turning this into something I didn't want and I don't want to be part of, so we're deading this whole project.
Right.
So just like for these accusations to be made about someone who is, by all accounts, like a good dude. It just, I don't know. But then at the same time, he gets to present that to us in the best light he wants to.
I mean, yeah, of course, absolutely. I don't know. To me, it's one. I agree with his statement. I mean, being asked that question, like, if you're a decent human being, you're gonna try to be a decent human being. If you're a shit person, you're gonna be a shit person. It's just at the end of the day, that's the two you're gonna go with. So. That just like it shouldn't matter if he's famous or not. Whatever he chooses to do is what he's going to choose to do. Right. Like, is there more? Like, you could argue, is there more pressure because you're a public figure and people look up to you, maybe kids look up to you, like, should you want to be better and show them better? Yeah, of course, but all they're doing is just doing a job they like.
Right.
They didn't ask for you to love them so much that they should influence you in how you act or who you are, right? You happen to do that because you connect to them through their work.
Right.
But that's not, they didn't ask for that. They didn't say, hey, you know what? Screw it. While I become an actor, I also want to be your superhero today. I'm going to do it right. No, that's, they didn't ask for that. So, yeah, he's absolutely right in that answer. But at the end of the day, like, if these things, if some of them turn out to be true, like, let's say, in heat of an argument, he did say some crazy shit to his wife.
Right.
That's just people talking shit. That to me is like, hey, I'm going to take your kids, and he goes off.
Yeah. While we were setting up this podcast, I told you I would end your life at least 5 times.
Yeah, I'm saying, like you say some shit, but like that's a heat of anger. Like I remember when I was young, when I was in high school, and my mom would piss me off. Like I would say some horrible shit, not because I meant it, just because I was pissed.
He was a shit teenager.
I actually, you. Nah,
kind of a little asshole.
No, but when I got mad, and so, but what are you gonna do? You're gonna hold that against me? Are you gonna hold any?
In today's culture, yes, they will hold it against you for the rest of your life, and you'll have to apologize for it at least every 5 years.
It does seem to be the culture we are brewing in society.
How much you want to bet that they bring up that like someone finds like through some deep search the stuff that what's his face said? Fucking Guardians director.
James Gunn.
James Gunn. How much you want to bet in another 10 years someone finds those tweets again?
And everybody loses their shit again?
I hate that. I hate that so much.
I agree with you, 100%.
I see some feelings on your face.
Because you said when we were just talking about bootleg and stuff, you said you don't want to say the wrong thing because who knows who's gonna look back at
because like I've learned from people's mistakes.
Right.
I've seen this way too many times.
Right.
Like,
yeah. And like here's the thing: just because you feel one way at 5 or 10 years previously, doesn't mean that a human being cannot change.
I change like every single year.
That's what I'm talking about.
It just happens.
Next year he's gonna be blonde.
Like you can
right,
exactly. That's the thing. You can change consistently. Just there are a lot of human beings that choose not to change. So just because you're used to people not changing doesn't mean human beings can't change their mind or opinion.
Yeah.
I've changed multiple different opinions that I had when I was younger versus what I believe now. It's just how shit works.
Yeah.
Like somebody that we watch on YouTube, Philip DeFranco. He was a completely different person 10 years ago.
He was trying to do the shock jock thing back in the day.
So, like, it just, people change their opinion, people change their mentality towards certain things. Like, who knows? Maybe what I'm saying now about Jeremy Renner and him being a public figure and that he shouldn't be held accountable even more so than somebody else would because he is a public figure. Maybe I'll think that maybe that'll be a different aspect that I will be looking at and have a different mentality towards that in 5 years maybe or 10.
Right.
You don't know. And that's the problem. Like, but as soon as you say it, it's out there, right? If you're doing this publicly and then like, oh, we can hold this against you. No, you can't. You can try to, but I just don't give a shit.
I mean, that's the thing. Well, here's the deal. I feel like people look at the things they've said 10 years ago, but then don't cross-reference it with how they are now as a person.
100%. I agree.
And that's where the problem is.
Yeah,
agree. Like, if you don't see a difference in them, then, like, that's the problem.
Yeah,
but if you see that they've changed and grown and, like, so...
I mean, and that's the thing, that going into, what's his name? We just said it.
James Gunn?
James Gunn. Going into James Gunn, even he said it himself. He's like, yeah, I said those things when I was trying to do shock factors so you guys would watch my shit. Because like his whole shtick back then was, to literally have a shock factor for you to watch his stuff. So
say crazy shit.
Yeah, he would say crazy shit to get the attention. You really gonna hold that against him 10 years later? Are you serious?
Right. Yeah.
Who the fuck took the time to go back 10 years to see what this man said?
It's a lot of scrolling.
That's the shit I'm saying. You gotta be like just really interested in taking this dude down. Because I think that's the same thing that happened to Kevin Hart. Like Kevin Hart said some shit several years ago, and had already apologized for that shit. But somebody went back and essentially saying the shit, bringing that shit up. He lost the gig of hosting the Oscars.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
I was a little salty though because he was like, "I'm not going to apologize again," but then he apologized again.
Well, here's the thing. Well, here's the thing. He didn't lose the gig. What happened was, if he didn't apologize, he was going to lose it. But he apologized. But he told them then, "Fuck you, I don't want it." He told them, "I don't want the gig." After he apologized.
That's true.
Because he didn't want to be like, "No, I'm not apologizing because you guys are holding this over my head." And good on him. To be honest, I said, fuck that. He better not apologize.
Right.
Who the fuck cares what he said 10 years ago? And he said it as a joke. Literally, he's a comedian.
Right.
He said it as a comedian. And somebody, once again, took the time out of their day to be like, how can we get the next person in trouble? Like...
Yeah, I was watching, Obama actually, of all people.
He did.
He recently weighed in on this whole cancel culture thing.
Yeah, I didn't realize we were calling it cancel culture.
And the idea was that his whole thing was that people they're being fake woke, essentially. Like they're not doing anything, but by calling out someone else's bullshit, they feel like they've done something. They've accomplished something. Now, that I don't it's just like keyboard activism. I fucking hate that shit. You know what's cool? Like the ALS challenge was cool up until a certain point, because at some point we know. Now you got to go do something about it.
Right, exactly.
At some point the awareness is there. Now granted, the ALS challenge, the ice bucket challenge back in the day, they raised like
a lot,
3 or 4 times the money they normally do on an annual level. So that was a great thing, obviously at the time. But like that is the kind of thing where you can donate to it, and that's all you can do. But there are so many things that have actual things you can do, physically do.
Yeah.
Like, there's a homeless problem in this country. Yes, there is. Are you volunteering at your fucking soup shelter? Like, are you going serving? Are you like helping out?
Are you donating money so they can, maintain that shelter and keep having food?
No, but like just saying shit on the internet, like, we have a huge homeless problem.
And now I'm accomplished.
Cool, right? Like I've done that. I am now a good person.
I have
check.
Check.
No, but don't you understand? You're spreading awareness.
Awareness, yes, absolutely. I am. If
awareness worked, gShift would have sold at $10.
I'm saying
1,000 times over.
I'm saying, first of all, if you believe that there's somebody that's, I don't know, let's say late 20s, right? I'll give the benefit of doubt that there's somebody in their late 20s and higher that doesn't realize there's a homeless issue, or doesn't realize there's a hate issue, or doesn't realize there's a third country problems, third world country problems. If you truly believe that there is a 28-year-old and higher, 28 and higher, that needs you to remind them that there is an issue for this shit, you might be the problem.
Right.
You might be the issue. You might be the problem. You might be the problem because you believe that there's somebody out there that might not know that there are issues in this world. No, they almost certainly know there's issues. They just don't have to remind people that there are issues. Maybe they're trying to get their shit together before they decide to go in and help people. So I don't know. Maybe that's how I see it.
I legitimately hope you're watching us live, Ethan, because your video just went insane.
I haven't been able to find the link to the live stream, so
it's caffeine.tv/T3G Media. I hope it doesn't fix itself by the time you load it.
I know, right?
It's fucking crazy.
But I don't know. That's just
no, yeah. It just like picking out the like cherry picking the things that somebody said that make them look bad. You could do that for anybody. You could do that for the best people in the world. Like, you could probably go back and find some shit that fucking Mahatma Gandhi said.
I was just gonna say,
you can find some shit that Mahatma Gandhi said back in the day.
I was just gonna say, I'm like, go find Gandhi, go find Jesus Christ. Like, I assure you, they've all said some shit that might not have been
somebody
best.
was walking down the street, they saw Jesus looking at some girl's butt, being like,
Yikes.
I mean, it's just I don't know. To me, it all plays. It kind of just all ties into literally Jeremy Renner and even how the culture just in general is like.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're getting these reports on him, but all they are right now are just stories. But because people want to hear about it, because you gotta be woke to the situation.
I am inclined to believe him only because he is not responding back in kind. From other similar scenarios that I've seen where people start slinging mud, if something is true, they start swinging back the other way, right?
Right.
So like, if I feel that if it was true, if he was abusive or whatever, that he would start saying mad shit about her. I did read something where I guess he said that she was sex crazed, but like, that doesn't feel like it's as big a thing. And it's like, if that's all you got, if that's all she's, that's all she is, and that's all you can say, like, that's all you can say.
I don't know,
like,
man. For me, I mean, this, I don't know how many times I'll have to say it, but until
12.
Yeah, 12, right? But until
get on with it.
Until there's a proper story that comes out that says charges filed, he's in jail,
right? Like
legitimate. All this is just we have nothing better to talk about. So here's a few stories from all different people that write articles, that write news reports.
Right. Gotta get those clicks, am I right?
Gotta get the clicks. Gotta get the clicks. And it goes back even to talking about gaming earlier. It's no different getting clicks to releasing a game every year.
Yeah.
You know?
Fuck.
So
the annual release cycle for everything. I mean, just like for hardware, for software, the fact that like, oh, a new cell phone comes out every fucking year, that makes no goddamn sense to me. I don't want incremental upgrades. I don't want a graphics card that is $1,000 that is 1.7% faster than last year's model.
Right.
Give me in 5 years. Give me a $1,000 graphics card that is 15% faster. I'm down with that. I'm 100% down with that. I don't want a phone that has one new feature.
Right.
I mean, the new iPhone has one new camera. That's what it has. Let's be real.
It's got a camera.
It's got one more camera.
It's got a camera.
They were like, last year we put 2 cameras on it. This year, 3 cameras. Next year, 4 cameras.
Like how many do I need?
40 photos.
40 photos. They're timed. They're in time.
That's right.
You could see yesterday.
Yeah. You could see, yes. You could, legit, if you wanted to, you could get the lotto numbers. I'm just saying you could, but I mean.
It's just like that. Have you ever seen the HTC versus iPhone animated like skit from iPhone? What was it, iPhone 4?
No.
Yeah, it wasn't. Dude, it's fucking hilarious. It's one of those automated, it's like you type in the thing and the computer speaks it.
Yeah, it's a computer voice that's
it's like
speaking
a computer
what you're typing.
But it's fucking hilarious. It's like it follows this woman who walks into a store and just wants an iPhone, and this guy's like, but this phone will fucking give you 3 wishes, even if one of them is for an iPhone. No, I want an iPhone. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
So like that. First of all, if you have not seen it, that's fucking hilarious.
You should watch that. It's just hilarious.
That's just like a fun. We just like that ends up getting referenced so often because
all the time.
You have these people, man. Sometimes they're like, oh, nope, gotta have the new iPhone. But why?
Yeah.
It's just got one new thing.
It's got a camera.
A camera, you say?
It's got a camera. Dude,
no
shit.
I have
Is that a
Pixel,
new feature?
I have a Pixel 2. Guess what I don't have? I don't have a second camera. I don't have a notch. It's still a great fucking phone. I'm gonna get a Pixel 5 because I like the number 5, and that'll be 3 fucking years after I bought my phone. And I feel like that's a reasonable time frame to buy a new phone.
Right.
But every year, it's so fucking disgusting.
And that's why for me, like going back to games, it's and even tech or anything really, it's like if you release it yearly, I'm most likely not going to be interested or want to buy it, because there's no way that you're introducing something so significantly new that it requires you to release it on a yearly basis.
That's why Call of Duty alternates. That's why they have the 2 studios.
Yeah.
So that's why Black Ops 2 is every 2 years, or Black Ops is every 2 years, and the main series is every 2 years. So like, you gotta have some sort of break, man. You just have to. Like, I don't know. I know people who play sports games. I get that they want to play with like the latest players, but that they pay $60 every year for the new FIFA or the new 2K,
because
like,
they've added new
I don't get that shit at all.
Stats, that's a little.
I'm just
weird.
But you don't understand. This basketball game has a camera.
But it has a camera.
No, it did. One of them did. One of them did. You could put yourself in the game.
Yeah.
One of them did. I forget which one. But no, that's what I'm saying. They add like dumb new shit. Like Madden has been the same for the last 5-10 years. It's just Madden. It's a football game. You play football. Like.
But new stats, new players. Come on, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You know,
draft.
$60.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
I mean, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the, like? Do you care about this Jeremy Renner thing? Do you ever listen to this kind of stuff?
Not really.
I mean,
he's like, nah.
Well, okay, so you heard my opinion. I said, you could argue both ways, where it's, he is in the public eye, so he should hold it, be more accountable for things, or where I argue like it's just a job. Yes, he's in the public eye, but like Joe Schmo did the same thing, he wouldn't be losing his job. So, how do you feel about that? Do you think, let's say the rumors turn out to be true, right? Let's say he did tell somebody that he was gonna kill his wife and kill himself because it would have been better to for his kid. It would have been better to have no parents than living with apparently the mom, because maybe she's possibly crazy or something. Let's say all that turns out to be true. Should he be held accountable? Should he lose the job? Should he no longer be with Marvel? Should he even be able to get a job at that point?
I mean, he definitely should be held accountable if he did it, obviously.
Right.
In the law sense, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
But I think what he's asking is, should he be ousted from Marvel?
Right. Should
ousted
he be
from the industry?
Should he not be able to have basically a job? I mean, he'll have a job. It just won't be an acting gig, or at least not in the mainstream industry. What do you feel on that? Do you?
I mean, I don't feel like he should be protected just because he's an actor.
100%. You're absolutely right. I don't think he should be protected, but I also don't think in my opinion, I also don't think he should be crucified because he's an actor. I think. I think we need to. Once again, yes, they're in the public eye, but they didn't ask to be your Superman. They just wanted to act.
Superman.
It just unfortunately with acting, there is the public eye because the public watches movies. So we're the ones that make them famous, so we know their stories. But does that change? Like, let's say, for instance, you, for your regular job, they found out, I don't know, you went to jail for something weird. Who cares, right? Whatever it is. But they don't fire you because that had nothing to do with your job. You see what I'm saying? Like, should he be held even more accountable than anybody else with a job because something involving his personal life?
That makes sense, yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think Ethan's right. I think he definitely shouldn't be protected.
No.
But
And
I
I'm
think
not
on
saying
that, I think
protected.
on that same level, he shouldn't somehow have like a higher standard of living. Like he shouldn't. I don't think he needs to be like more.
It's muddy water. Like there's not an easy answer here.
There's
No,
not an
there's
easy
not.
answer.
I mean,
that's
like,
the problem.
No one asks to be someone's hero. No one asks to be someone's like idol or whatever. But that also doesn't mean that because someone sees them, or even all of us see them as some sort of better, like a higher. I don't know. It's like a weird way of phrasing it. Like I don't know, more important person somehow. Like they're a source of entertainment for us.
I mean, that's
Right.
That's
like
a right way
if
of
Will
saying it.
Smith like turned out I'm a huge
Yeah.
fan of Will Smith. Like if Will Smith by some fucking mysterious fucking method turned out to be a piece of shit.
Right.
I don't think that he gets away with it because I'm a fan of him. For me personally,
Yeah, sure.
But I also don't think that he now somehow is worse of a person than some guy off the street who is also a piece of shit.
Right.
Yeah.
He's not somehow worse because I also and many people also look up to him and see him.
Right.
as a-
Right. Exactly.
I think you got to hold everyone to the same standard,
Yeah.
regardless of their.
And that's
status as a
what I'm
public eye.
trying to say. I don't. Once again, definitely not protected.
No.
If he said some shit, he said some shit, and that's where lawyers are going to get involved,
Right.
and that's where, and that's between him, his wife, his kid, and the lawyers, and the law.
It sucks that there's a kid involved. That's
I mean,
what-
yeah, that's
you know.
always
Oh, yeah.
that's always the shittiest part when it comes down to divorce and stuff like that. But it's just
What's really salty to me, like what I'm salty about, is that they've apparently had joint custody since like 2015, and like this shit's just coming out, and it's coming out on the back of like his biggest paycheck ever,
almost certainly.
and he's about to have his own show, which is
Well,
probably
I
gonna be a
think,
big
and I
paycheck.
think, well, I was gonna say,
Like-
and that is kind of, and I mean, obviously, it's all gonna be speculation on our end because
Right.
obviously we, who knows what the truth is except for the people involved in it, but that is awkward, right? He just got out of doing two of the biggest Avengers movies ever, which made billions of dollars. Almost certainly, all the actors got paid decent money. On top of that, he's becoming big because of his music too. So he's
It's true, yeah. I keep
he,
forgetting
yeah, he's playing off that Avengers thing and going into this music thing, which is kicking off very well for him because of that. And
Yeah.
then, as you just said, also a TV show that he's going to be on that's part of the same studio who just made billions of dollars.
It's weird. It's weird that there is something.
And I honestly,
4 years
I honestly,
later,
yeah, I was gonna say I didn't even realize because when I saw some like, especially this more recent thing with the music, they were doing like behind the scenes in his life and in his home,
Right.
and I didn't realize that.
He had a kid.
I realized he had a kid.
Oh, okay.
I didn't realize it wasn't the person he was with wasn't the mother of that kid. So so when they were doing that, I had no idea that he went through a divorce or
Right.
so it is interesting that now all of a sudden with all this extra eyeballs that he's gotten recently, but once again that's just speculation. I mean it could be just a coincidence. So you never know.
There are no such things as coincidence.
No. I don't know about that one.
That's some people say. That's some people say.
I don't know about that one.
I don't know if that's true.
I've had some interesting coincidences.
So-
however, Robert Pattinson has been seen being in the gym and learning jiu-jitsu
Good.
for the
Good.
Batman role.
Maybe he might be a decent Batman. God damn it.
So here's the thing. So
We need another Batman. Yes, I totally agree.
100%. We definitely needed another one. Here's
as long
the
as
thing.
he's not sparkly,
So
I'll be okay.
I was talking to so I have my nephew. He's in his 20s, so it's not like he's young. But I had my nephew, and we were talking about Batman. We were talking about Pattinson. He actually didn't know because we were talking about Joker and how good it was.
Yeah.
And he actually didn't know that Pattinson got casted to be also a Batman. And he said the Twilight dude?
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah,
the
the Twilight
the
Oh my
pale
gosh.
vampire? And I'm like, yeah, the pale vampire. And we both agreed that Nothing against Patterson. Nothing
He
against Robert.
said when they were talking about this man on fucking podcast, when we were talking about when we were talking about like potential stars for Batman, like people who were up for it before he got announced, he's like, that don't look like Batman. He's like, that looks like a Robin.
That is a Robin. That's a Robin. And that's exactly what I was just gonna say. So this is the thing me and my nephew were talking about. Here's what we said is, so when Bruce Wayne walks into a room, it's not, he doesn't walk in and people are like, oh, that's just Bruce Wayne. No, people are like, that's Bruce Wayne. And not because he's just a millionaire, but also because he's a handsome man. Like, when you see Bruce Wayne, you know Bruce Wayne. You know Bruce Wayne because he's rich. He's he's
a billionaire playboy philanthropist.
Exactly. And 100%. Exactly.
He's a billionaire playboy.
So when I see Patterson, I'm like, Patterson walks in a room. Nobody gives a shit that Patterson walks in a room. like I don't know. I'm a very judgmental man.
You are. That's true.
So
that's very true.
You know, I've said that I'm a dick multiple times, and I'm not gonna hide it. But I don't know, man. You tell me Robert Pattinson is playing Bruce Wayne, and he walks in a room, and I'm supposed to believe that guy is catching all these. I mean, literally, like every time you've seen Bruce Wayne, not Batman, but Bruce Wayne walking into a room, the females are always eyeing him, right?
Right.
I don't see Robert Pattinson.
Bruh, I be eyeing him. What you?
You be eyeing that Robert Pattinson, huh?
I mean, he's a handsome man. Like, why not?
I don't know, man.
Listen. I'm saying.
So,
I don't know. I'm. Did you see Joker?
Yes, I did.
Did you like it?
I love it.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's
amazing.
fantastic.
I don't think there's anything more.
It's one of those movies. It's one of those things. I said this off camera because we never actually reviewed it on the podcast.
No.
But it's one of those movies that it did such an amazing job, especially the performance from from Phoenix.
He killed it.
That it's one of those performances that takes me literally weeks to get over. It's one of those things that takes me weeks to literally get out of my mind that I actually just experienced that.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Because it was that good. The guy he destroyed it. But I mean, that's one thing. Like, you can always talk shit about, that he lost his shit and he went crazy, and he does have, mental issues, but you can never say that man ever has a bad time acting. Like,
it's true.
Like, any role he's done, he's always acted very well.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And so
100%.
I am not surprised that he destroyed this role. But honest to God, I did say that it'll be a long time before I will admit that somebody's better than Heath Ledger. But this man just took the cake and then some.
Oh, yeah.
He destroyed being the Joker.
He killed it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Destroyed
it was fantastic.
I mean, then again, I can't just give it to him because the cinematics behind that, the people, everybody involved just nailed it. Like the way the visuals, like the way the town looked, the fact that the 80s looked like the 80s, the clothes they provided him with, and just everything, just the visuals, the camera work. It was on point. I mean, I just couldn't stop thinking about the entire movie. It wasn't just his performance, but
the artistry of the film has really got me. It was just really, really well done. Really interesting stuff. So like, there's that. So this is a thing I wanted to talk about with you before you saw it. So at the end, when the Waynes exit the theater, the movie they saw. So in the original comics, the movie that they walk out of is the Mark of Zorro, the original black and white Zorro movie. That's what they walk out of, and that's where they go in the alley, and that's where they die. In Joker, they walk out of Zorro the Gay Blade, and I was like, why would they change the name of the movie they walk out of? Right? Two reasons. One, that movie came out the year this movie takes place, so I thought that was a really interesting thing. The second reason is Zorro the Gay Blade is where Zorro gives his stuff and his responsibilities to his young son. And that's just such a deep cut to what happens in that alley.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, when I saw the sign, I thought oh, the henchman's just messed up the sign. That's
No,
what
no,
I thought.
no,
I'm like, oh, okay.
It was a legit film.
No, it was a legit
Oh, wow,
film.
okay.
And then the other fun fact, the club that he does the stand-up in, Pogo's, Pogo was the name of the clown that John Wayne Gacy played. So John Wayne Gacy's clown name was Pogo. And then that whole thing where when he loses his job, his boss tells him, like, oh, you make people uncomfortable. He also was doing his makeup with corners and sharp lines. And that was something that John Wayne Gacy did. And that's because, like, clowns usually do, like, bubbly stuff around their face.
Right.
And the sharp lines makes people uncomfortable because it's scary looking.
Right.
So John Wayne Gacy was also told that he made people uncomfortable because he did these sharp lines. So there's just like this deep shit that they put into it.
They did good, man.
Like,
They did good. And like technically, Joker is responsible for the Wayne's death, but like he's
Not directly.
But not but
directly.
kind of, but not, not directly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
I like
thought
that,
was
yeah.
pretty cool too. So
There's a lot of really cool stuff that's in the movie. I really dug it.
they
That's
nailed
great.
it. I mean, they. I mean, still to this day, I think I saw it now. What is it? It's been 2 weeks now, and I still can't get it out of my head.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great flick. It's a great flick.
It's crazy, man. I will definitely. I mean, I don't know if I'll watch it in the theater again, just because I don't know who actually. I'm not one of those people that goes to the theater alone,
Right.
and I don't know who actually will
Same,
go.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I saw Zombieland 2 alone because I wanted
Such
to
a
see
good movie,
it.
right?
Oh, it's fantastic.
Such a good movie. It was
it's
so
actually
fun.
a fun movie.
It was so
yeah,
fun.
it's super fun. I mean, it's
great.
exactly what I wanted. I wanted comedy and zombies, and they nailed it. So
Yeah, they crushed it.
yeah. But no, I'll definitely be buying that movie on DVD, and I'm gonna watch it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna watch it a few times,
Right.
and it's just.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see
So,
where it's
for
at.
sure.
Let's
Oh,
see.
I can tell you right now. I pulled that up.
He
so
already-
the production budget on that movie was $55 million.
Sure, makes sense.
They are currently worldwide in $938 million.
That's what's up.
All right. That's good.
They,
Talk
they,
about
they
profit.
beat Justice League, Batman, Batman, Superman, Dawn of Justice. They beat Wonder Woman. They beat Aquaman, I think.
Did they have a lower production budget than Deadpool and are
Was it 55?
55?
They're 2 million shorter. 57 was the final production
Damn.
budget of Deadpool.
Damn.
That's
so
crazy.
that's just I mean and well deserved. I mean, like I said, just
yeah.
everybody nailed
it's a
it.
Great movie.
Everybody nailed it. I mean, his performance yet is amazing, and just seeing him take on that persona and being that kind of. I mean, I like and there's not one point during that movie where I'm like, oh, he's acting. No, I thought he was just.
Yeah.
I thought he was just a crazy dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
here's the thing. I thought he was a crazy dude at the end. Before that, I just thought he was a dude that just had the shittiest fucking luck in the world.
Yeah.
And,
Exactly.
And that he was been lied to on such a deep level. Like when he snapped and started killing, I don't know, man. At that point, I was just like,
I'm like, I kind of understand.
like I can't really like. Here's the thing: I can hold against him when he starts later on, when he's the Joker and he kills millions or thousands and thousands of people. But at this point, I'm kind of giving him a pass. I'm like,
Right.
I'm kind of, you know what? I get it, Joker. You just got to kill some shit.
That reaction is literally what all those people were afraid of that were trying to boycott the movie.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
It's
like obviously, I'm not saying go murder people. I'm just saying,
Right.
like, after watching that and you just see what he goes through and then seeing him snap, I'm like, yeah, no, I understand why this human being
Shut up!
snapped. Like, at the end of the day, this human being snapped for a reason. And so, it's just, it was a phenomenal movie. Phenomenal. I mean, I cannot wait to at least get it on DVD so I can watch it again.
The pacing was so good that when it finally like racked up with the intensity of it, I was like, oh wow,
Agreed. Yeah.
you really hit home.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I mean, some people I've heard say like it's slow paced and like it takes a while to
disagree.
build up, but I'm like,
I mean that's
but I'm like not for an action movie, sure, but this is an action movie.
That's the
whole
other
point of
thing.
this movie is to build up on
It is
who he becomes.
I would like to say that it is not a great comic book movie,
no,
but it is a great film.
Right,
It
it's
is
a
a
great
great
film. Yeah, absolutely.
it's
I
not
mean,
Like
it's not an action movie. It's a psychologically dark look at a man going insane.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
100%.
it was.
Yeah.
I think it was really well done. I just, I couldn't possibly have better opinions about the damn thing.
I mean, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Even in saying comic book movie, I would easily say it's a great comic book movie because it is the story that maybe if you really want to see, like you've seen that Joker's crazy, but if you really want to see how Joker's head works,
Right.
here's the story.
Sure.
So I would even accept it as a great comic book movie because Joker was never a like comic book in the sense of like he needed to have a costume. He was just a crazy dude. Like he had a chemical fucking bath and
I think that to
skin.
me is the main difference. This is not. It's not comic booky in that he has this like
where it's sci-fi
chemical bath. He doesn't have
Right,
his chemical
yeah.
bath origin. It's more of a psychological thriller, and I'm fine with that. Obviously, I just think it's definitely a different. It doesn't feel like a comic book movie to me.
And to be
there's
fair,
been other comic book movies based on comics
who's
that
to
are the
say
same way.
that like we don't? I mean, obviously, all the interviews that I've seen with him and the director, they've said that there's no thoughts of making a second movie.
Yeah.
There's no thoughts of this being part of
better not be.
part of the universe. This is its own standalone movie that was just
But that's-
we wanted
to
to
me,
make
that's like-
a
That's
great
perfect,
Joker movie. And I said, yeah, but you could, especially the way they ended it, you could throw it into the universe. And who is to say that after he runs away, or not runs away, but escapes the psych ward, he falls in a chemical bath and then gets the chemical issue.
I mean, here's the thing.
on
Yeah,
top of that,
it certainly could be tied in.
But-
I wish they don't.
I hope
But
they don't.
I would put this movie in the same category as other movies based on comic books that are not comic book movies. V for Vendetta.
Right.
Like, great movie.
Great film.
Great story. Based on a graphic novel, but
Right.
most people don't know that.
Right.
Men in Black is actually based on a comic book. Most people don't know that.
I was surprised by that.
Yeah,
actually.
most people don't know that, and it's like it's a good standalone sci-fi movie. It doesn't feel comic booky because even the comic book was like an indie small thing. Like
Right.
it wasn't a major comic book. It wasn't this thing with history and depth and
Right.
stuff like that. But like when you get into like superheroes and stuff like that, that's more comic booky.
But even with like for instance, like with the Joker, one of the great stories that I truly enjoy is The Killing Joke.
Right.
And that is a deep psychological story. That's not
Right, but the thing about that was it was written by the same guy that wrote V for Vendetta and like
I like it.
right. I mean, same thing. Like look at like what was it called? League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. That's based on a comic book.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
I enjoyed it.
It is sadly the movie that ended Sean Connery's career.
Right. But here's the thing. But the reason his career ended with that movie is not because he hated the movie. It's actually because he hated the process for that movie.
Yeah, no, and I get it,
Yeah.
but it's still it was but that's the kind of movie like to me. Even that is almost a little bit leaning more towards a comic book movie, but still is more of a. I think the movie is more of a comic book movie, weirdly, than the comic book.
Right.
The comic book, if they had just done it like Pamela's Screen, it would be just this weird, like steampunky thing.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't feel like a comic book movie. But I think it was a great movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I always felt that people, like if you look at the original Batman movies with Michael Keaton and what's his name, the guy that played Joker, Jack Nicholson, and then you watch Heath Ledger take on the role and do it even crazier, right? Amp it up, go really crazy with it. I feel like people still never understood how I felt, how crazy Joker was. And I feel like this movie really shows you an even deeper understanding on how crazy this character's mind can get. Like this was definitely playing more into like the bad situation, bad situation, bad situation. Okay, time to snap as a human being. Where, I mean, there was also aspects, there were little aspects here and there that you could see, like, it wasn't just him snapping after a bunch of bad situations. You could tell that there was some bad in him during the movie.
I think they... It was kind of a weird thing, if I'm, like, to analyze the way it was portrayed. I actually think it was kind of a weird thing to give him that actual neurological damage due to physical abuse.
Oh my god, that was
It
crazy.
was kind of like a weird way of, like it was like an apologizing, like, oh, Joker's crazy, yes, and he's gonna kill people, but like he was fucked up. Like, it's not like he was born crazy.
Right.
Like, he was fucked up, and it was like actual trauma and,
well, I mean,
it's actual physical damage that causes him to be a bad guy.
Well,
like,
and here's the thing. Well, and
he's actually damaged, not tattoo damaged like the other Joker.
Yeah.
Like
We
Suicide
don't speak about that Joker.
We don't speak. We don't. Excuse me. Are we talking about something? Oh, we're talking about Phoenix and Joker. Yeah, that's right. But here's the thing. Anytime you do see like a Joker story, or at least anything that I've seen, he doesn't become that crazy until something changes him. If it's the chemical bath, or if it's
sure,
like in the.
But I think this giving him this, like, because I think everything that's that has strived to show some sort of origin or past to Joker before the chemical bath has been very much not deep, and it's very, like, even not the Killing Joke, but like the Batman, I think it's called like Shadow of the Bat, issue 50 from like 95, 96, goes to like show this original thing where he was a comedian. That's like where most of this story comes from. And he like had a wife or a girlfriend, and she was pregnant, and he was like trying to make money as a comedian, and like he was just a dude who was trying to make money.
Yeah, and he gets railed in to do the bank job.
Exactly.
Yeah. So like, she ends up like dying, and they lose the kid obviously because she dies.
Yeah, it's a whole thing, and like he then goes into that bath after that event because he becomes the Red Hood, and it's this whole thing where he was just a normal dude forced into bad circumstances and made bad decisions. Whereas with this, I think it is just like to have this physically damaged thing in his past.
But didn't they incorporate? I feel like they incorporated that story in the Killing Joke.
Possibly. Because that also might have been something. It might have been like the other way around. Because again, the Killing Joke was written not to be part of the DC universe.
No, I understand that.
So when they
but that's just, to me, it's just I've always wanted people who didn't read comics to really understand what they've seen on the screen. Like, I wanted them to understand that Joker wasn't just your anyday villain. This man was so beyond psycho, that like that perfect moment, right? Even though they made it comedic, that moment where the two ex-employees come in and he stabs the living shit out of the one, and then the other one's losing his mind. He's like, please don't kill me. And he's like, I'm not gonna kill you. That's Joker. Because you have no idea. You're certain you are dead. You are certain, and he will let you walk. Because he's gonna fuck with you one way or another.
Yeah. No, it is.
And that's like a perfect, like, that's exactly what I wanted the people to understand. Like, that's why, to me, when I watch Jared Leto, I'm like, Joker has his hands in everything. Like, he can go up to a gangster and play to gangsters' methods, but he'll still be the Joker. He won't talk gangster. He'll be the Joker, but he'll talk to a gangster. He'll talk to a mobster. He'll talk to anybody, but he'll still be his crazy self. And they will never know what he'll do. He might kill you. He might not. But he will fuck with you one way or another. And that's why I loved this movie, because they showed that. And that's what I wanted, the not your average... Like your average going movie audience that didn't know anything else about the Joker via comics or the animated series. Because you needed to know how crazy this guy is if you do see him in upcoming Batman movies. Like, why he's actual threat to Batman. Because let's be serious, Batman is literally the perfection of a human being. And the reason he is that because he knows he has to compete with gods. So he knows that he has to be on his peak level. And of course, to obviously to fix a fucking entire city of bad. So for somebody like the Joker to be something relevant to Batman, you have to realize how crazy he is to actually matter to somebody like Batman.
Right, for sure.
So that's why I was super happy when I actually finally did, because I knew I was going to like the movie. But when I saw how deep and crazy it was, I was like, this is it. This is what I've been wanting. And they nailed it. They did
for
it.
sure. All right. I want to pivot, kind of like circle all the way back to the beginning.
All the way
back to the beginning. We talked about the review you did of our game, and I wanted to give you an opportunity and ask you a couple questions about yourself, and kind of like where did when did you start YouTube? Let's start there.
Okay, if we're being technical, 2011.
Okay.
Because I used to make Lego videos.
Okay. All right.
And I did that for like half a year-ish, maybe a year, I don't know. But then I started doing my own stuff on like my own channel, which is the same channel I post to now since like 2016.
Okay.
So
2016, so 3 years. And was it always indie game review or?
Oh no. It's evolved. No, that's kind of evolved over time because I feel like this past year I finally got to grips with what I want my channel to like actually be, because I started with gaming and then got bored of that and then started doing more personality type content, and then I ended up making a series called Gems of the Internet, which I still do nowadays, and then that's kind of the springboard of like the analysis type content.
Okay.
And so now I make
perfect podcast.
Yeah.
This
is the best podcast.
This is the best podcast in the world. So professional, super professional.
Yeah. Top level.
Well, that's a perfect thing. I mean, listen, like you might have started in 2000. What did you say?
2016 for the most recent.
Well, for the 16, but you said 2011.
2011, yeah.
So like that's a perfect showing. Like, just cause maybe you didn't continue on with the thing you started originally. That passion to create something, even at that time, continued over to now what you're doing at this point. So that's I do like seeing that, because I'm actually similar to you. Like my original first ever car video, because I have a car channel that I run, and that was like 2000 and I want to say like 9. I want to say something like that. But I never took full initiative to go into it, but I always had that same I want to keep making videos, I want to keep doing this. So I finally got back into it, and I was like, well, I love cars, I want to make videos, how about we put the two together and just keep doing what I was doing back then. So no, I like that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what I mean, are you full-time YouTube, or I mean, like it's the middle of the day?
I wish.
It's the middle of the day.
YouTube right now for me, with my own personal creativity, is like it's still my passion project.
Right.
Like I do have a Patreon, but I don't get a lot from that.
Sure, yeah.
So that's not really my job right now. My job is editing for other YouTubers.
Okay, that's what's up.
So
I mean, that's still I mean,
it's still in the same wheelhouse.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're crafting the skill of putting
sounds
that
like
you can utilize.
We'll leave a contact email down below.
Yeah, right.
The editor.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. But that's the perfect mesh of the two, right? You have your own channel that you would like to grow and continue the content you want there, but then you're also getting that learning experience by working for other YouTubers to know later on, oh, I can do this with my video, and I can incorporate this, or I can even try this that I haven't done before. So that's a perfect way of you're not 100% on your channel, but at the same time you're still developing that skill. That's
right. And the thing with my videos is I take a lot of time with my videos, and that's because I do want my writing to be like high quality as well as like my editing and my joke delivery and everything, which is why they take a long
I
time.
mean,
Right.
and
And
listen,
like,
I'm
and you
okay with
execute
that
that.
because
And you
once
execute
again,
that very well.
you nailed it on that game review.
Lie down.
So like, the fact that you 100%, and that's why it should take a while, so you can actually provide the content that you want to provide, and that's my argument all the time when I watch like. We're part of this group on Facebook. It's called No Smoke Creator, and they always talk about like the same thing. Oh, should I go daily?
Quantity.
Should I go daily? Should I do quantity? And I'm
But
like,
I think it
I'm
depends.
like,
I think you're also doing both. But I think you are doing quantity and quality. Like you're doing quantity because you're doing editing for other people. So your skill level is
okay, that's fair.
Because that's the thing.
That's...
Most people do need the quantity to get better. Like because like you can't be 3 to 5 videos in and expect to put out something that like everyone's gonna enjoy.
Right.
Like, you just can't. Like,
and I understand what you're saying, but he also understands where I'm coming from. When those guys talk quantity, they're talking about should I go daily and do vlogs. And to me, I mean, you do daily vlogs outside of somebody like Peter McKinnon or Casey Neistat, unless you go that deep. Then you're gonna get good as a creator.
The only way,
but if it's just like a talking head, and the only thing is a talking head,
it has to have a subject matter.
You can't. What's the point?
Yeah.
So like your videos, that's a perfect example. Yeah, you're still doing quantity, even let's say if it's once a month. You're right. That is still a quantity.
Well, I just mean like he's editing for other people.
Well, of course, yeah, absolutely.
Can Dan come and play?
But at the same time, he is also taking the time to make sure that he releases what he feels is the best he can deliver at that moment.
Right.
Like it's not like this is the best I can deliver at this moment, but it's just a talking head. Like what's the best? Where in his situation, he is presenting you with properly timed jokes, deep looks into like, for instance, for our the video that he did on us. He went deep into music and like what instruments are used. Like
when you said
that is
just
quality.
Go back to praising you a little bit. When you said like the instruments, I was like, "Fuck, he's right." Like I never even noticed that shit.
Yeah. Oh my
God.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, there are strings. What the fuck? How did I never notice?
Nailed it, man. Nailed it. I mean, and I truly appreciate it. That to me is true content creation. Once again, we all have our understanding of different words and what they mean to us. But to me, like when I think about content creators, I'm thinking about somebody who wants to release something that truly captures the mind, that truly captures the attention. Don't get me wrong. I understand there are people out there that really connect with just daily vloggers that just they want to connect with that person by seeing their life, and it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be Casey Neistat. Like it doesn't have to be to that level of editing and creation. But I'm one of those people where if I'm creating something, I really wanted to grab your attention in how it was put together and how I'm telling you and presenting you the story. If it's the story of my passion for cars, or if it's the story of really enjoying something or going out there and doing something, like whatever that story might be or that narrative might be, that's what I like to do. So that's why when you say like your videos take a time, good, because that means you really are trying to put in that time to create something as good as it could possibly be.
There's a lot of there's a laundry list of reasons why I do my content the way that I do, and a lot of the reasons bash with a lot of advice that YouTube people give you.
I know.
And I'm like, and that's because like I'm doing a different kind of content that I really don't see on the internet. So I feel like I'm the one that needs to set a good example for like the next generation of YouTube. Quite honestly,
I hope you continue with the game review that you just did, because that kind of review doesn't exist. There are reviews, but what he just did, where he went into giving proper criticism to the creators, where he talked about, like, once again, I'll keep going back to it, but like the difference in the music for each map, and then on top of that, what instruments were used in the music and how it plays into the mindset of each map with the song. Like, that nobody does that. Nobody.
Mhm.
I've never seen
exactly.
anybody take the time to really go.
Because
through
it
the
doesn't
game.
get views. That's why nobody does it.
Right, exactly.
But
And that's all everybody cares about,
and
that's
that
how
goes-
it should be.
And that goes back to our
In my
conversation
opinion,
of,
that's what should
Right.
get views.
money motivated moves versus creativity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
no.
I honestly feel like that's why I love indie games, because I feel I can relate to like every single indie game.
And I
quite
can
honestly.
completely understand that.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, man. No, I dig your content. Obviously, I think I've praised enough for the evening. I'll praise some
That's
more
fair.
another day. But no, you make incredible stuff. Like I said, absolute best video game review I've ever seen in my life. I'm
That
excited.
means a lot to me. I hope you know.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see more. Like, I want you to check out Keymailer. That's something I got hyped to a little while ago, and that's literally studios providing keys for the purposes of review. It's they have a ton of different stuff, and it's all indie games. So,
And I'm gonna jump in on that what he just said. I 100% agree with him. I think your review is probably the best thing I've seen in a long time when it comes down to any review.
yeah,
I just the way it's done. Everybody does reviews and they try to do it in their own way, but a lot of times it's cookie cutter stuff.
right.
What you've done, I have not seen, and I think you should continue with it. I think I've never been. I was like, man, 26 minutes. I'm like, I watch long videos, but if they don't catch my attention, that's going to be a problem, right? They can't be long videos and also not have proper content behind it where it's going to grab my. And you did it. You nailed it, man. Like he was hyping it up. I'm like, man, I hope you didn't overhype this shit for me. And he put it on. And I started watching. And I was like, this is fucking great. And then you started going into details, and I was like, holy shit, he went deep. Like,
Because when I first started watching it, I didn't realize how long it was. So, and then when I felt like other videos would have been done, I was like, all right, cool. Like that was a good review, right? And then you started going into like the music and all this.
I'm just getting started.
Yeah, you're just getting started. You didn't stop, and I was like, holy shit.
Damn.
But don't get me wrong, none of this is bad.
Because even up to that point, it was still a great video, right? Even up to that point where I was like, other reviewers would have been like, all right, and it is a good game, blah blah blah. And then you were like, and then the music, and I was like, holy shit, this is awesome.
Your writing's on point, man. Your comedy's on point. How you deliver the different aspects of the game, both in
and you're dealing with random shit when that green screen falls. It like.
Oh yeah,
timed with your script so well.
Perfect, man.
It was way too perfect. That wasn't like those situations. Like those weren't even scripted. But I'm like, I have to add this in.
No, you 100%. When that happens, shotgun. That's on point. That like you sometimes have to take the unexpected, and if it works, it works. But
that toy shotgun, that was a fucking.
But
great
at
moment.
the end of the day,
oh, I love that scene. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, man, your writing, and you mentioned like you really focus on your writing to make sure the jokes land right and stuff like that. It shows, man. It shows. You do it really good, and
you're killing it.
I hope you continue with it. Keep it up, man.
We're gonna.
I'm not planning on quitting, so.
Oh, damn sure. I'm
100%.
gonna have you back on. We have a segment of the podcast we do that's called Passion as a Business. We talk to people at various points in their career. And we'll dive more into like your journey and stuff like that in that. But of course, if you're watching, if you're listening, down below, Mastereth, various platforms, check them out. Definitely gonna leave that contact info if you need an editor. Drop that down below. And then Dan's here for the outro. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. Ethan, thank you for being on the podcast.
Forget, like, comment, and subscribe.
Hey.
But yeah, that's gonna be it for this one. Thank you guys for watching. Ethan, again, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for that incredible review. And yeah, you guys make sure check out Ethan, Mastereth on all the platforms. Links down below if you're watching the channel. Yeah, that's gonna be it for this one. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one.